The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again for joining us for another Wednesday webinar. As always, we know your time is valuable, and we always appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy day to meet with us today. We do promise this information will be extremely helpful to help you increase that DI book of business. Today we're going to talk about the Multi-Life DI product. Basically, we're going to talk about how to identify and present and close those multi-life opportunities. So we'll talk about what the product is, and then of course show you some great sales ideas and how to close those multi-life sales opportunities. Today's presentation will be given by our Business Development Manager, Mr. Ben Coleman. Ben's been with DIS for 5 years. He started as a member of the sales team, and due to continued company growth, moved into the position of Business Development Manager. So a couple of things before we start. We can't hear you, so if you do have questions, please type them into the box on the right side of the screen, and time permitting, we will answer those at the end of the presentation. Well, without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to introduce our Business Development Manager, Mr. Ben Coleman. Ben, take it away.
Hey, Lee, thank you. I appreciate that. Folks, as Lee mentioned, good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us for another Wednesday webinar. Today's topic, multi-life disability insurance. We're going to do some training. I'm going to show you some sales ideas on how to help multiply your DI sales. So I want to jump right into it. And first off, right off the bat, I got a sales idea for you. You may have heard this one before if you've listened to any of our webinars, folks, but write this down. This is very important when it comes to selling disability insurance. What I want you to do is call it paycheck protection. Don't tell me what disability insurance is. Tell me what disability insurance does. Folks, what is it doing? It's protecting the most important asset, that ability to earn an income, the ability to earn a living, protecting the paycheck. So when you're out there talking to your clients and you want to bring up disability insurance, or maybe they even ask you, start referring to it as protecting the paycheck. I think it's going to be very helpful when you're speaking almost on their terms and in their vernacular. You know, they're going to understand. It's going to hit home when you start getting them to think about, well, you know what, that's right. I need to protect my most important asset. That's my paycheck. That's really what disability insurance is, folks, paycheck protection. So that's the first sales idea right off the bat. And this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to present paycheck protection using the multi-life discount. Now, hopefully some of you have done some DI in the past or received illustrations where, as you know, you can do individual disability. You can do it just on one person. It doesn't always have to be through an employer or a group product, but you can do it for an individual. Well, along with doing it for an individual, if you get a certain number of lives, these carriers are going to offer you a discount. But before we do that, there's one point I want to make, and I'm sure most of you have heard this or you know this, but disability is more common than you think, and it can happen to anyone. Folks, none of us are invincible. Any one of us can become sick or injured, and that being the case, may not be able to go to work. So what's one of the best ways that we can convey this message? How do we emphasize the need for disability? Very simply put, folks, let's use statistics. Use the facts. Now, I've got a couple of stats here I want to point out to you. These are two of my favorites. Again, you may have heard this one before if you've heard our previous webinars, but 3 in 10 working Americans will experience a long-term disability during their working years. 3 in 10 working Americans. And then the second statistic, which is one of my favorites, is one that you can have a good time with. You can kind of have fun with it because it's an intriguing question you can pose to your prospect or your client. But let's look at the stat first. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, more than 51 million Americans are classified as being disabled. Now, that's a lot of people, folks. Now, actually, did you know, and I didn't know this, and this is the question you can ask your client, did you know that the disabled is the largest minority in our country today? You know, first thought, you know, if somebody were to ask me that question, actually when they did ask me that question, you know, a certain ethnic group popped into my mind where I was like, oh, I was surprised. But actually, the largest minority in our country today, folks, is the disabled, and that's with over 51 million Americans. Now, that was back from the U.S. Census Bureau in May of 2006. As you know, we just did our most current census. That number could actually be higher than what it was 4 years ago. So use stats, folks, to help emphasize the need and to bring that point home. These are just a couple of the stats. If you're interested in more, we have a great piece that we've put together here at DIS called our DI Statistical Power Pack. Now, you can order that for free after this presentation. You can call our sales department, give Lee a call. Actually, anybody here in our office can help you out. But if you like these stats and you want more, as I said, this is the best way to emphasize the need. We've got a one-page PDF that we call the Stat Pack. So give us a call and ask for that. Okay, so we understand the need for paycheck protection. What about multi-life disability insurance? What's multi-life going to do for you? Well, it's going to save your clients some money. It's going to save them up to 47% for certain clients. And I'll get into that a little bit more during the presentation, but right off the bat, let me tell you, I've seen 47% savings on females, and that's huge, folks. And the reason for that is this discount that the carrier provides is a gender-neutral discount rather than gender-distinct. With disability insurance, females are much higher than male rates. Now, that's the opposite from life insurance. On the DI side, your females are higher than the males are because of the likelihood of them becoming disabled more than a male. Okay, well, your DI sales are going to multiply with the multi-life discount or with using the multi-life. The reason is let's say you have one client that's interested in protecting their paycheck. Well, guess what? You're going to start asking them the question, if you know where they work or if you know if they're a business owner, if there are other people that are interested in doing the same thing they are. So by getting a certain number of lives, and I'll talk about that in a minute, you're going to be able to offer all of those clients savings on a DI policy. So your DI sales, rather than just one lead or one prospect or one client, you're going to watch those multiply just by using this discount. And ultimately, what does that mean for you? The more policies you're selling, the more commissions you're going to receive. So this is what multi-life disability insurance is going to do for you. Well, as I mentioned, it's going to offer your client savings with the discount when you submit 3 or more applications. Now, that is pretty much across the board the norm, where as long as you have 3 lives, not 3 policies, keep that in mind, folks, not 3 policies, but 3 lives, they will offer a multi-life discount. There are a couple of carriers out there that we work with that will actually do it on 2 lives. Even better. So you might have a husband and wife that own their own business. Guess what? If they are interested in getting paycheck protection, you can offer them a discount. And the discount varies. It can be from 10%, 15% to 20%. It depends on the carrier. It depends on the profession. Either way, there's savings that you can provide to your clients. So in most cases, most carriers, they will require a minimum of 3 lives, but there are a couple carriers out there, MetLife another one, and Union Central, that will give you a multi-life discount on 2 lives. So keep that in mind, folks. Very important. All right, moving on. What are the common requirements for multi-life DI cases? Well, these are important to note. They all all the applicants need to be employees of the same company. They all need to be working at the same place. And that's actually, those are your W-2 employees, that's fine. But the carriers also will offer to 1099 employees, as long as they share, this is important, as long as they share a common worksite address. That does need to be supported by documentation, but if that's the case, they are eligible for that multi-life discount. The best example I give for your 1099 employees is we're actually, all of us, insurance agents. A lot of us are 1099, but a lot of us may work for a certain insurance agency. If we're all working in the same building at the same place, regardless of if we're W-2, if we're 1099, we can receive the multi-life discount on a DI policy. So, folks, if you've got business owners or real estate agents that are 1099, if that's a target market for you, if you've got 3 or more real estate agents sharing that same worksite address, you're going to give them the discount. So that used to not be the case, folks. It used to only be offered to employees of companies, 3 or more lives for those employees. This is a recent change, I'd say about 2 years ago, that they'll now do contract employees, 1099. Here's something to note of contract employees that are not eligible for multi-let discount. These are medical residents and medical students. These would not be eligible to receive a multi-let discount. There are other programs, folks, if you're interested. If this is something that you are going after, medical schools or medical residents, graduating residents, there's also discounts we can provide. They're not necessarily, they're not called the multi-let discount, but it may be a possible association discount if that particular medical school doesn't already have an association set up to provide disability insurance. So that's another topic, but we can provide you that if you're interested, or I can give you more information about that if you're interested. Okay. The target market, as I mentioned. Well, a lot of it kind of depends on you, yourself, the agent. Who are you currently going after, or who are you currently working with, your existing client base? Are they small businesses? Are your clients, are they W-2 employees? Do they own their own business? Do they work for a company that's got multiple employees? Are you targeting just professionals? Whoever it may be, folks, you can, more often than not, provide that multi-let discount in all of those scenarios. So I want you to get a clear picture of what your target market is, because I'm telling you right now, as you can see on the screen, all of these markets are undersaturated, especially when it comes to selling paycheck protection and disability. Well, you can go in there and you can provide not only paycheck protection for one individual, but for multiple individuals, and do it at a discount for them. So again, maybe you work with your mom and pop business owners that only have a handful of employees. Let's say they only got 10 employees working for them. Well, as I mentioned earlier, as long as 3 of them working there are interested in getting paycheck protection from you, you've got that discount. And it doesn't have to be the employer either. The employer does not have to sign off on this in order for you to provide anyone there a discount. One other thing I'd like to mention about the multi-let discount, folks, let's say you have an individual, you have a client that works with a couple of other people at their company, and they're talking about how they do have disability insurance. They've already got it. They've got it through a different agent, another agent, but they have a policy. Well, if your client comes up to you and states, I'm interested, I want to get it too, guess what? Because other people there already have that, if you write that case with the same carrier of the coverage they already have, they're going to allow you to have their multi-let discount as well. So if they already have a DI policy in force with a multi-let discount, and just your individual comes up to you and says, hey, my coworkers, they've already got some DI. I want the same policy they have. Can you get me the discount? The answer to that is yes. All we would need is the names of those existing policyholders, and your client would qualify due to the fact that 3 people already work there, have a policy through that carrier. So that's important to keep in mind. Anyways, okay, as I mentioned, it doesn't have to, the business owner does not have to take a policy on his or herself in order for any employee to qualify. Your target market may be larger companies, larger corporations. Again, all you need is 3 lives. And then maybe you have your professionals, attorneys, doctors, dentists, somebody that's got a small, private practice, but they've got a staff. They maybe have a staff with some office administrators, secretaries, clerks, whatever it may be. As long as you've got 3 lives there, you can get the discount on the owner and the other 2 people. They might just be clerical, but either way, you're going to save some money. Now, I'm going to show you an example right here that was a huge savings for a client that we had. This is one of the case studies we did a couple years back. We had an agent come to DIS. He had a 46-year-old female attorney here in California. She's a sole proprietor, and she had 2 employees working for her. She contacted her agent because she knew she wanted to get paycheck protection or disability on herself, and this is what we quoted. Agent gave us all her information. These are the quotes we sent back to the agent. we gave her the strongest definition available, true ONOC. So if you can't perform the material or substantial duties of your occupation, you're going to get your full benefit regardless of if you're working or you're not working. So the true ONOC, folks, is almost like double dipping. So she couldn't be an attorney, but she could go be a teacher or a consultant. Guess what? She's going to get her full monthly benefit plus whatever she's earning. Best definition out there, true ONOC. I'm sure you've heard of it. Anyway, so we quoted true ONOC. Based on her income, we showed her $4,000 of monthly benefit that she was eligible for. We did the waiting period or elimination period at 90 days. Benefit period at that time, retirement age was age 65, so we quoted it to age 65. Nowadays, folks, you're going to see a lot of the carriers going to age 67. In this case, is a couple years old. Policy features, non-cancelable. We locked in the premiums. Non-can means you're locking in the premiums. They're guaranteed never to go up, never to increase. Residual benefits, partial benefits, same thing. And then COLA, cost of living adjustment. That's going to increase your monthly benefits a certain percentage if you're out on claim, while you're out on claim. After 1 year, it'll increase that $4,000 a certain percentage. So here's the premium. $4,829 is what it came out to be. She's, remember, a 46-year-old female here. All right, so we sent that illustration, emailed that back to the broker. Now the broker took it and he presented it to his client. What do you think her reaction was? Well, I can tell you right now, she was shocked by the price. $4,829. That's a lot of money. You know, she's an attorney. She was probably making good money, but still, at the same time, folks, that's almost $5,000 a year. That's the annual premium. Well, she knew she wanted the protection, but she just didn't have that type of budget. So the broker's like, well, the broker really wants to make this sale, and he wants to help his client out. You know, he knows that she wants to protect her paycheck. So he's like, calls us back. He's like, I need some help. Tells us the scenario, tells us the situation. Let me tell you what we didn't do first. We didn't water down that disabling definition. We kept the true ONOC. We didn't extend the elimination period. We left it at 90 days. Same thing with the benefit period. We didn't shorten it. We kept it to retirement age 65, and we didn't take off any of those riders. We left the non-can, we left the residual, and we left the COLA. What did we do? Well, folks, you remember what I said earlier. She had 2 clerical employees working for her. We told our agent, you know what? We're going to add those 2 employees. The agent's like, what, are you crazy? I just told you she can't afford it. Why are you going to add 2 more people to the policy? And they're all individual policies. But why are you going to add 2 more people? It's going to be more expensive. Well, not when you had the gender-neutral multi-life discount. This is what we did. She kept the original coverage we quoted. We added those 2 employees, those clerical employees. We did a very bare bones type policy. You know, it's not going to be as strong as hers, but it's an added benefit that's going to be provided to these clerical employees at no cost to them. And I'll tell you why it's not going to cost them anything here in a minute. So this is what we quoted those clerical people. We showed them $600 a monthly benefit. We did a 1-year waiting period and only a 2-year benefit period. Well, you might be saying, well, why did you quote a 1-year wait? Well, folks, in the state of California and several other states outside of California have something called state disability insurance. If you become disabled, the state's going to pay you for 1 year. So that's the case in California. So these folks had a 1-year wait. If they were to go out on claim, the state would pay them for a year, and then this policy, this little $600 a month policy, would kick in after that and continue to pay them for 2 years. So the cost now for all 3 of these lives, look at that, $3,067. There's a savings of $1,762 by adding 2 more lives. The reason the savings are so much in this case is because the female rates were so high on a gender-distinct basis. That just shows you how much more females cost versus males. By adding those 2 small policies for those clerical employees, it's now based on the gender-neutral rates. Not male, not female, neutral. Then you add the discount. In this case, it was 15% on top of the neutral rates. That's where we see such significant savings for females. Males are still going to receive savings, but it's not going to be as to the extent that it was in this particular case. So this case, folks, is kind of a rare example, but I want to show you the true value of adding multiple lives where you can to help make the sale, make your client happy, and then ultimately the client was happy, and she's providing her two clerical employees an employer benefit that they don't have to pay for. So it was a win-win-win situation for everyone. I really do like this example. It just goes to show you how much you can really save by adding those multiple lives. Well, I got another sales idea for you, folks, and this also has to do with overcoming price objection. And it's all about in the way we present Paycheck Protection. And folks, you can actually do this. You should be presenting anything you're selling in this way. And let me show you why. First off, let me tell you, the reason we feel a lot of the agents fail when it comes to selling Paycheck Protection is due to the price. So how do we help you overcome that? Well, very simply put, in this example, it's just going to be showing how you present it to the client, how you show them Paycheck Protection. On the right-hand side of your screen, we've got our DI illustration. This happens to be from the Standard, one of the 12 carriers that we do work with. Nothing special about it, just for an example purpose here. I want to show you how it's sent back to you when you receive a quote. This is the summary page. You're looking at this, and this is how you're going to show your clients. We quoted $5,000 per month at a net annual premium of $2,449. Well, what are we doing here? We're showing them the lowest benefit they're going to receive at the highest denomination of cost. When I say the lowest benefit they're going to receive, I mean in terms of the value of this contract. Yes, the client qualified for $5,000 per month, but why aren't we showing them what the true value of the policy is? What else are we doing? We're showing them the highest premium. So if I'm a client, if I'm anybody and I'm looking at this, this is not aesthetically pleasing. I see $5,000 and I see $2,500. So you're telling me if I pay $2,500 a year, I'm going to only get $5,000? Let's show them a different way of presenting it. And maybe you guys are already doing this, folks, and if you are, fantastic. But the correct way to present Paycheck Protection or life insurance or whatever you're selling is always show the highest, truest value of a policy at the lowest denomination of cost. So very simply, how do we do that? Simple math. Pull out your calculator, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, whatever you're using. Let's calculate the true value of this. Well, we know it's $5,000 per month. So what do we figure out? We figure out how old the client is. We know the client's 35 years old. We want to find out how many years would this policy pay for if they were to become disabled. Well, looking at your summary page, we did the benefit period to age 67. They're 35 years old today with a benefit period out to age 67. That's 32 years of potential benefits they could be receiving if they were to become disabled. Simple math. You take that $5,000, you multiply that over the period of 32 years, $1.9 million tax-free benefit. Why is it tax-free? Well, more often than not, the individual is paying for it out of their pocket with post-tax dollars. So if you go on claim, guess what? That's a tax-free benefit. The opposite to that, folks, is if it was employer paid, then it would be a taxable benefit if the client were to go on claim. So there's your difference. Employer paid, taxable. Employee paid, tax-free. Okay, so now I take my red Sharpie, my pen, whatever it is I'm using, and I take that $1.9 million and I write that across this illustration in big numerals, $1.9 million, and you can even put tax-free if you want. Next step, very simply, remember we're showing the annual premium? I want to show it on a daily cost basis. That's the lowest denomination of cost, right? So for $6.71, we can protect the ability to the ability to collect $1.9 million worth of benefit. So that's it's something very simple to do, folks. If you're already doing it, great. If not, I encourage you the next time you do a Paycheck Protection presentation or you're presenting DI, try it. Let me know if it works. How's it going to hurt? You're showing them the truest value at the lowest denomination of cost. All right, folks, I'm going to start wrapping things up for you here. In summary, as I mentioned in the beginning, disability insurance is sold, not bought. So the best way to sell DI is by selling the need. Remember, establish the chances of being disabled. Use those stats. Use that stat pack. Give us a call if you're interested in receiving that. Secondly, with the multi-life discount, get a clear picture of your target market. Are you working with closely held small businesses? Do you work with individuals that work for large companies where there's hundreds of employees, multiple opportunities to go after all these employees? Or are you focusing in on your professionals, your doctors, attorneys, dentists, architects, engineers, and they may have a small staff, whoever it is, whatever it is. Next time you're talking to one of these individuals, ask them if there's anyone that they work with that sees the same need they do in protecting their paycheck. Go out there, get them the discount. Remember, I even said there's a couple carriers that will do 2 lives on the multi-life discount. And then finally, folks, what we kind of wrapped up with is overcoming that price rejection. I'll reiterate it again. Show the highest benefit at the lowest premium. Other things that you can do to overcome price rejection, again, one of them, the bottom one here, we said offer that multi-life gender-neutral discount. One thing I didn't touch on, but it's very simple and something you may want to consider next time you're talking to your clients, ask them how much they're currently paying on a daily basis to protect their other assets. How much do they pay to protect their home, their car, their boat, whatever other assets they're currently insuring? Find out how much they're paying, and then I want you to tell them how much they could be and should be paying to protect their most important asset, which, as we've mentioned plenty of times today, folks, is the paycheck. All right, folks, well, I appreciate that. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to see if there's any questions, but before I check the questions, this is our website. If you've been there, great. If you're registered, fantastic. If you're not, I highly encourage you to check it out. If you're out there on the internet today, surfing the web, check out diservices.com. We've got articles, marketing materials. You can listen to pre-recorded webinars if you've missed any of these in the past. You can sign up for future webinars. You can always submit quotes here. Bottom line, folks, that's what we do here at DIS, is we want to build your block of DI business, but we want to do all the heavy lifting for you. We are the experts. We're going to run you the quotes. We're going to show you the best carriers that we work with. We're going to answer all of your questions. We have a fully staffed underwriting department, so the next step after you make the sale, you fill out the app, it comes to us, we scrub it, we make sure all the requirements are met before we forward it on to the home office. So we're here to help you, hold your hand, make sure that you have a comfortable experience and that selling DI becomes easier for you so that you're comfortable in going out there and talking about it with all of your clients or all of your prospects. So check out the website. Folks, you can always give us a call. Ask for myself. My name is Ben, or anyone else in the sales team. We've got Lee that can help with marketing materials. And that being said, Lee, I'm going to throw it back to you for if there's anything you'd like to mention. I'm going to check to see if there's any questions.
Hey, thanks so much, Ben. Great job. Folks, as always, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy day to meet with us. We hope you did find this information helpful. And I just wanted to remind you that you will receive a copy of this presentation. Well, it's a summary, basically, an article in your inbox via email. So should get that in about an hour, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And next Wednesday, we're going to have our DI Inner Circle Selling Secrets webinar, where we'll go a little bit deeper into overcoming those price objections. Ben touched lightly on a couple of sales ideas, but next week we're going to dig deeper and actually have some scripts for you, and he'll go into that insurance comparison that he kind of touched on at the end. So when you're sitting down with your client, we'll help you close that sale and overcome the biggest hurdle, which is that price objection. So join us next Wednesday for that. As Ben also said, our sales team is standing by, so if you have any quote requests or risk inquiries or just any questions, please don't hesitate to give them a call at 800-898-9641. And as Ben also mentioned, our fully staffed underwriting department will walk you through that application process. So thank you so much, folks. Again, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, and we really enjoy doing these for you. Ben, did you have any questions you wanted to address before we signed off?
Yeah, folks, I've got a few good questions here. Robert, I'm going to have to research your question a little bit. My gut instinct to your question, and I'll let everyone know in case you can't see it. It says, what about P.O. box addresses? And I think that's in reference to what I mentioned earlier about everyone having to work at the same office site location. I believe it has to be a physical street address and not just a P.O. box, and mainly, for your 1099 employees. I will do some research on that for you, Robert, and I can shoot you an email or you can give me a call and we can discuss that. But that's a good question. And then Felton's asking, what commissions is DI paying these days? How much are DI commissions? Typically, folks, and it varies from carrier to carrier just a little bit, but street-level commissions are 50% with 5% renewals on years 2 through 10. So that's great, folks. And the persistency on DI cases usually stay on the books for about 12 years. So you're going to be receiving those renewals, hopefully, for a long period of time. There are, let's see, with the commissions, folks, I can tell you this. We don't take any of your commissions. By working with DIS, we receive overrides from the carriers. So you're going to get the street-level comp, which is the same for everyone, which is often a question we get regarding commissions. And there's some incentive for all of you out there. If you want more than the 50%, we can provide overrides based on production. Now, that's something we can have a discussion about if you're interested. But depending on how much business you write, how much DI, we're more than happy to, reward you additionally on top of the street-level comp. Jacqueline, what type of marketing materials? We have plenty of marketing materials, Jacqueline. Whatever you're interested in, I recommend you give us a call. Ask for Lee. We've got articles that we can send you that a lot of them are sales ideas. Other articles are just more educational, like, a DI Dan, or excuse me, like a crash course, a DI 101. As I mentioned, we've got some of those sales ideas that pertain to comparing the cost of paycheck protection versus how much you're paying to protect other assets. All kinds of marketing materials, actually. If you're interested in doing an email campaign to your clients, folks, we have the technology. If you want more information on this, let me know, because this is great, something new we've just started. It's called Broker Computer Assisted Marketing. So if you have an existing list of business, or an existing list of clients, and you want to do an e-blast to them, we can set that up for you. We have letters, a library of letters you can choose from to pique their interest, to see if they're interested in getting a DI quote. It's an e-blast we can do whenever you want. It's up to you. We don't solicit your clients. We understand it's your business. So if you wanted to, you could even send out the e-blast yourself, whatever vendor you're using. So that's one of our great marketing campaigns. Along with that, if you have your own website, folks, we can give you a link, a quote engine to put on your own website for DI. And it's coded specifically to you or your company. So if your clients frequently go to your website to check out what's going on or apply for other types of coverages, we can put the link on your website. All they would do is click on that, submit or fill out a quick form, submit that. Guess what? It comes right to our sales department. All the information that your client submitted comes straight to us. You get notification. We run the quotes. We get those back to you within 24 hours or less. So that's a quote engine we can put on your website. We can do it for all of you because they're all going to be unique to you or to your company. This is huge, folks. We're really trying to push the technology this year because we want to make it easier and accessible for everybody. So we've got the e-blast campaign we can do. We can put that quote engine on your website. And along with that same link, something else we can do, you can put that on your Facebook. You can put it on your LinkedIn account. You can put that at the bottom of your email signature. It's a link specifically, like request form that's going to recognize you as the agent, and any one of your clients or prospects can fill it out. So again, that's Broker Computer Assisted Marketing. If you're interested, give us a call. We just want to make things easier for you, because we see the value in that. And we want to make sure that you guys are comfortable and confident when you're going out there and selling the paycheck protection to your clients. So that being said, folks, I went a little bit over at 11:30 today, but I really do appreciate everyone being on the line. We love doing these, as Lee mentioned, every Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. If there are any questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to give us a call. Folks, I hope you all have a wonderful and great afternoon, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks. Take care.